Hello and welcome to this pit stop for Magnastorm, designed by Bauldric Friends and published by Feuerland. In Magnastorm, 2 to 4 players are going to be representing the major governments of the Earth, and we have spread out into the galaxy, and we have come across this planet in which there is a magnetic storm raging across half of it, which will move around the place as we go through the rounds. However, there is remnants of an ancient civilization down here which has expertise in 4 different areas, and we're going to look to spread out across this planet, avoiding the storm, researching these areas, influencing the commanders who have been sent with us to help us on our mission, and hopefully scoring the most points over the course of the game. On a player's turn, they have got 2 options on this action board over here. They're either going to try and influence a commander, or they're going to take an action. They're going to choose one of the workers up here. They must choose a worker of their own colour or a neutral yellow worker to begin with, and if they wish to take an action, they're going to come down here, and there are 2 actions you can do. When you put this down, if you choose to collect cubes, you look in the right hand column and you choose a space in a row, and that's how many cubes you're going to get. And the reason you might want to choose different spaces is either to make it more awkward to control commanders next turn round, because these spaces will swap around continually throughout the game, or there are bonuses in spaces you go on. For example, you can increase your research in a certain area. So if I place this neutral worker here, there's a blue marker there, I will move my blue expertise up in that research. That will gain me a bonus off a yellow cube, which is always very handy, and then I can get 2 of my own cubes as noted by the bonus. And that is how you're going to claim income when you choose to do this action. The other action you can do down on this bottom board is to be able to move your rover around the actual planet itself. So again, you choose a neutral or your own colour worker, and you choose somewhere you wish to go. And again, there are bonuses such as being able to draw cubes out of the bag, or move further spaces, or put one of your own workers in play in order to block people and make things more awkward for them. When you go there, you pay the cost to move your rover around the place. Now your rover is going to be, it's all going to start together in this space when you begin with the basic game. Whatever it is, you can start from that space and just move it 1 space adjacent to it. In this case, we're going to carry Ron clockwise around the board. And when I stop there, I've got the choice to build one of my turtle labs for my board in the spaces in the area I've stopped in. Now the different spaces are linked again to the same research down here. So in this case, I'm going to look to build a turtle lab in the blue area, and they become more expensive in cost of cubes as you build more of them. And for 2 of my own colour there, I build that on the blue space, and again I go up in blue, and again I'm going to get cubes back for that, in this case yellow and my own colour. But you can also draw blindly from the bag, or get to put a worker out, or do various other things. Now, I said that you can start in the space that you're in, but also when your rover goes past one of these transmitter sites, if it's empty, as we've done here, you can put one of your transmitters into play. This one happens to cost me a yellow cube. And any time you do that, and you only have 3, that's going to score you 2 points. And that's the first of 4 ways you're going to score points in Magnastorm. And I'll move up on this track. The game is going to end if any player gets to 27 points at all on their turn, even if they then subsequently lose them. And once we finish that round, we'll add up, or maximum 4 rounds will be played. Now, once the transmitter is in play, then anyone can begin their movement for where the transmitter is. If it's yourself, then that's fine, it doesn't cost anything. However, if another player wishes to do it, let's say Grey is fed up of being over there and comes all the way over here, then they're going to have to give you a cube of any colour, which is hopefully going to help you out. So when you move a worker down to the lower board, you're going to take any bonuses which are on there. It might allow you to move your rover further, or drop an extra turtle lab as long as you pay the cost, for example. Or again, those research ones we talked about are extra cubes. Or you're going to move your rover around and build your turtle labs into the spaces on the board, moving up in your research and gaining cubes if that's appropriate. When we look back up here, the second thing you could have done is to take command of one of these commanders. Now the first one is always just become first player, and that won't score you any points, but the other ones are the second way you're going to score points. You look at all the workers which are below one of the commanders, and you pay 1 cube in the colour of those workers, in this case a yellow and a grey. You can always pay any 3 cubes to count as a cube of any colour, so you don't necessarily have to have exactly the colours required, but you do definitely have to have a stock of cubes. Then if you're taking the commander away from another colour, as denoted by their marker, you must pay another cube of that colour. And then you get to take the commander card, and that will get kicked out. One of my markers will get put in there, and that has got various things that happen. As I take as Raya Bondsmaya there, it means I am going to score 2 points for taking the commander. The player who previously had her is going to lose 1 point, and also now I get access to her power, and her one is that by paying extra orange cubes as I move my rover, I can build more turtle labs as I go, but they'll still cost me whatever the cubes are down there. Now, I said that's the second way you're going to score points out of the 4 you can in this game. The other ways in which you're going to score points are, at the end of a round, when all of the workers have been moved down here, either by takeover with commanders or by moving them for actions, these boards will swap around again, as I said, and then there'll be some various admin going on. For your turtle labs on the board, you're going to get a certain incoming cubes. Also, whoever's got a majority in each area that hasn't got the storm on it is going to score 1 point for each, although there's a commander, Osgur Yilmark, who'll up that by another one. And in scoring those points, that's the third way that you'll score points. There are other commanders that you can take control of over here. And after this is when we check these commanders, and we check and see who's furthest up on each of the research tracks. And whoever's furthest up is again going to take the commander of whoever's got it. If you've got it yourself, you retain it. If you take a commander, you gain 2 points and the other player loses 1. But the fourth way you're going to score points is also over here on this board, and there are 2 types of objectives you can achieve during the game. On the left-hand side, they're always linked to where you are on research tracks, and they tend to become more difficult as the game goes on. They may also be linked to how many commanders you control. For example, for this one up here, in round 3, if you move one of your research markers down by 8 levels, and you must have the most knowledge in that research level, you get to take that objective. So pink can do this and move this all the way down here, meaning obviously they're likely to lose control of that commander at the end of the next round. But they can put their marker in, and the number of points you score is going to decrease as more people claim the same objective. So pink will score 4 points for having done that. On the right hand side, there are also objectives, but they're always linked to having turtle labs on the board. And as the orange player, that's, as you can see, what we've been concentrating on. And I can either retrieve 1 turtle lab from each of 3 sectors or 2 from 2. And in doing so, again, I could put one of my markers down and claim it and take those turtle labs off the board. Now, while they will not be there to get me cubes and points, they will, however, make building turtle labs and as I avoid the storm going around, more cheap for me in the future. Once we've done that, as I said, at the end of each round, the storm's going to move around. We can't move back into areas with the storm. We'll have to keep on moving and progressing around the place until any player hits 27 points, or we've played 4 rounds. And at that stage, whoever scored the most points will be the winner of Magnastorm. This has been a Game Pit Pit Stop. For more videos like this, check out our YouTube channel. For more in-depth coverage of games, please check out the Game Pit podcast.